Hello my fellow weirdos, my name is Maria Williams and welcome back to my channel. For today's video I am doing my January reading wrap-up. Hey guys, as I said, for today's video we'll be doing a wrap-up of all my reads in January, which is not the most amount of reads because I was sick for half of it. Anyway, before we jump in and see what I managed to get done in between dying with the flu, please subscribe to my channel. I really would appreciate it. Hit that bell button so you get a new notification every time I post a new video, and please leave me a comment, like this video. All that sort of stuff helps me with the algorithm, helps me reach new people, but also it helps me connect with you guys, which is the main aim of social media after all. So come chat with me, give me your horror recommendations, let's be friends. So anyway, as I said before, January was it was a difficult month. Cue the sad music. I had flu for 2 weeks of it and basically spent it lying on the sofa in my own filth, just covered by snotty tissues, feeling really sorry for myself. And as much as I would have loved to have utilised that time to read, I just wanted to sleep the majority of the time. So I didn't really get to start reading until I was feeling better towards the end of that, which left me, 2 weeks or just over that to read. Not a lot of time, but I did get in 3 books in those 2 weeks. I'm pretty happy with the ones that I got. So first up, we're going to talk about The Overbridge by Deep Arya. This was kindly sent to me by the author in exchange for a fair review. And unfortunately, it suffered at the hands of Irish weather and got soaking wet sitting at the top of my handbag. Very upsetting, but I was still able to read it all. So essentially what this is about is our main character is driving across a bridge, which is, I can't even imagine what that would be like, but in America they seem to have these massive bridges that maybe take you like an hour to cross, connecting you from one state to another, and this is one of those such bridges. He wakes up and finds that the bridge is abandoned. He's surrounded by a mysterious fog. Nobody's about, but there is definitely something out there in the fog watching him. He slowly begins to find other survivors. There's another gentleman, a real estate agent. There is an elderly man who's frantic because his wife has disappeared and he has found her broken glasses. There is a young child left on a school bus, the only one there. And there is a woman, a police officer, who states that she has just witnessed a couple of survivors that she managed to find getting pretty much desecrated in the fog and encourages them not to go anywhere near it. So it's this band of makeshift friends who decide that the best bet, if they can't go forward because of the fog, is to try to go back across the bridge and go the other direction. And on their travels, a lot of weird stuff happens. Safe to say that they're not in Kansas anymore. Not that they're in Kansas, but you know what I mean. There is something in the fog that has transported them to this weird location or has taken over the bridge where they are, and it is toying with them, playing with them. It makes it rain blood. It has the dead walking and rising and staring at you. It has all sorts of creepy, wonderful things happening. And it's all a way of pushing the individuals towards breaking point. It's kind of revealed to be a sort of Cthulhu-like H.P. Lovecraftian type god that is trying to encourage individuals to come and willingly join it by committing suicide. Pleasant. So it's these characters sort of fighting for survival in this ridiculously weird set of circumstances where they don't know what the hell's going on, they don't know how to get out of it. So as you can imagine, it's filled with lots of creepy moments and carnage. I really enjoyed this book, I have to say. It brings to mind things, as I said, like H.P. Lovecraft with regards to the sort of godlike beings. It also brings The Mist to mind with Stephen King, but it is different in the sense that it is more to do with the personal issues of each individual involved. Each of them is being manipulated and they are having something reaching into their thoughts and using their deepest and darkest memories, their biggest shames and regrets, the things that they fear most in the world, as a way to manipulate them. And the way that each character's sort of issues are revealed, it's really interestingly done. And the way that they're kind of getting picked off, because as you can imagine, not many people are going to survive this set of circumstances. So I really enjoyed it. I liked the ending. I'm not going to spoil it, but it's one of those ones where you're like, uh-oh, because you're not entirely sure which way has it gone. You know, it's sort of left up to you, and I like that. I'm going to give it 4 out of 5. The reason I marked it down is for one reason and one reason only, and that is because the author spelled out the noises, which is really petty, but for some reason it just kind of took me out of the story. So if there was a loud bang or a loud scream, the word like bang or ah were literally written down in capital letters. And I think it kind of kept reminding me that I was reading a book. So every time I kind of got immersed, it kind of pulled me out slightly. And that is literally the only reason I marked it down. So I think because I'm being like, that is a very minor thing. You can tell that this is definitely a good book and worth reading. So thank you very much for sending it to me, Deep. I really enjoy it. I recommend it. If you're into creepy horror, give this one a go. Okay, next up we have The Turn of the Screw by Henry James. I've already done a deep dive review of this, guys. Check out the video. I'll put a link in this one so you can go and check it out. But essentially it is about a young female governess who is sent to a big, beautiful house called Bly Manor in the middle of the English countryside to look after 2 young children, a little boy and a little girl. The story mostly features her, the 2 children, and the former housekeeper. And she begins to experience supernatural going-ons, paranormal activity, and she starts to see spirits that she learns are former members of staff, both of whom died in strange circumstances and both of whom were actually lovers. And she believes that they are trying to go after and take the children and that she must protect them. It's really well written, classic Gothic literature. It's this constant sort of ominous kind of tone to it, which I really enjoyed. It's told to you by someone telling a story, which kind of, so it's like a gentleman at a party reading the governess's written story to you. So it's like straight away you're being told this tale, and I felt that helped kind of draw me in. I liked the ambiguity of the book because, as I said in my deep dive, there's 2 interpretations to this. Either she is some poor young woman who's been plagued by ghosts and who's desperately trying to save these 2 kids from them, or she's nuts. Up to you. It's your interpretation. I personally think that the ghosts are real, and I've said in my deep dive why, so go and check that out. But yeah, I really enjoyed this. This is actually featured in our Gothic Horror read-along. It's September's read, so I'll be rereading it then. I'll put a link down below, but definitely join us if this is one of the ones that you've just never got around to. If you fancy brushing up on some classic Gothic horror and Gothic literature, then come join me in my read-along every month for the rest of the year. We're going to have a classic like this. And then finally, we have Weeping Season by Sean O'Connor. Again, Sean very kindly sent me this in exchange for a fair review. What to say about this book? It's kind of like The Hunger Games on acid. Our protagonist wakes up chained to a tree in the middle of a forest, and there's another young girl chained up next to him, and their heads have been shaved and they've both got a number on the back of their head, different numbers. And they then discover other people, and all the same things has happened to them. They've basically just been dumped. They've had their head shaved, their number, whatever their number is, tattooed into the back of their head, and they've just been dumped in this forest. And their only contact with any kind of outside world is a speaker, which comes out of the ground, and the kind of game master who tells them that they have a series of tasks that they have to do, usually based on a very personalized fear of the individual who is ordered to take part in said game, and that is the only way that they can win rations. It's just a big psychological mind F from day one, and any kind of rebellion or attempts to escape are met with lethal force. So we have these individuals desperate to try to work out what the hell is going on, how did they get there? To top it all off and make it much harder, they don't remember who they are, and their memories are only slowly coming back to them, because whatever these people have done to them, it has kind of hidden who they are from themselves. So we are learning who the protagonists are along with them, and we are discovering what is happening, what is going on, and how they got there along with them. So I thought that was a really great way to straight away sort of set up a kind of bond between you and the various characters in this ragtag group. You become personally involved, and you get a bit gutted when some of them inevitably die in horrible ways. But the one great thing about this book is that nothing is what it seems. Just when you think you know what's happening, you don't really. Now, I worked out part of the twist. I don't want to spoil this for anyone, so no spoilers. But as I said, things aren't what they seem, and I kind of worked out the one of the bigger ones from the start, but there were parts that I did not at all guess, like who was behind it and why. So I found that all very riveting at the end when it was revealed. Yeah, no, I really enjoyed this. It was one of those ones where I got to a point and I was like, well, I can't put this down because I need to know what happens. I need to know who's coming out of this alive and why this is happening to these people. So I, the last half, it was just, I sat down and sacrificed all else to be able to read it. I really, really enjoyed it. I'm going to give it a 4.5 out of 5. And the reason I marked it down slightly is because there's like, I don't know how to do this without spoiling it. There's a particular character that it's just awful, and some people don't get what they deserve, and yeah. So I was like a bit like, that frustrated me slightly, and also because I did kind of see elements of it coming, but I only marked it down a very, 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 very small amount for that. 4.5 out of 5 because it is genuinely a really, really, really good read. It's just one of those complete mind benders. Definitely give this one a go. And that's it, guys. That's what I read in January. Not a huge amount. What can you do when you're sick? But I am aiming to read more in the coming months. In fact, I'm going to be doing a TBR video showing you guys all of the reads that I'm hoping to read over February, March, April, etc. So check that out as well. And don't forget to subscribe, hit the bell button, give me a like, write me a comment, do all those wonderful things. Let's connect, let's be friends. That's me for now, guys. Bye.